Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Behind the Curtain, a three-part series of moderated discussions and a little bit of live performances showcasing local artists intersecting cultures, spanning genres, generations, to celebrate the emerging works that they've produced, their experiences in the creative sector, and our guest panelists include some BIPOC creatives, amazing, talented, awesome, incredible artists, and you know, they've made a significant impact on the creative ecosystem. I introduce to you AnOmali, woo!
Hey.
And Arnetta Johnson, woohoo! So I'm gonna just go in alphabetical order if that's okay with you. Okay, that's all right with y'all? So, excuse me, I would be remiss if I did not mention our very generous sponsors. We'd like to thank the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts. We'd like to thank the Rotunda, the Women's Coalition for Empowerment. I'd also like to especially thank Wawa, Hip City Veg for their sliders. Thank you, Hip City Veg. AnOmali is the CEO of AnOmali Entertainment Incorporated.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're an exquisite singer, songwriter, musician, actress, poet, activist, producer, soon-to-be filmmaker.
Yes, ma'am.
All of these things. Okay. So AnOmali is just that. Like, you're an anomaly. You are just like unusual. You're not like regular. You're not just like the commonplace. Hailing from the main, I'm sorry, when you say the main line, you have to say the main line.
Bougie.
Shout out to the main line. That's where I go and get lasered, so that's great. You're the daughter of a preacher and a classical pianist. Yes. You were influenced by every conceivable genre. So you shared the stage with Mama Patty? You shared the stage with Mama Patty?
Auntie Patty loves me a little bit.
Okay. You shared the stage with Patti LaBelle, Frank McComb, Jaguar Wright. Okay, Bilal, the Clark sisters, Hezekiah Walker, and Jeff Bradshaw too.
I used to feature for him all the time.
Wow. Okay, and a lot of many more notable artists. She has the vocal stylings of a storyteller. She is a masterful and diverse songwriter and a skillful pianist. You have to really use and elocute everything while you're reading this because, wow, the bio is dope. You demonstrated amazing vocal range and control, as well as your ability to sing and merge any musical genre seamlessly, from alternative rock to jazz, soul, pop, urban, folk, and beyond. That's that mainline exposure, isn't it? That's that main line. Oh, wow, that's awesome. So thank you for joining us for Behind the Curtain. And I would be remiss if I did not mention Miss Arnetta Johnson, dubbed the trumpet chick. She's like, oh, Lord, what is she about to say about me? She is the creator, as far as I know, because I haven't seen anyone else who has dubbed this terminology except you, disruptive jazz. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm giving you your flowers.
Yep.
Giving them the flowers. Yes, you are the creator and the muse of disruptive jazz. Arnetta Johnson and her trumpet had a long-term affair since she was very young, the age of 13. She is now poised to introduce both young musical audiences and jazz aficionados to a new musical experience. A Berkeley alum.
Yes. Yes.
Berkeley with the EE, not the LY.
Berkeley with the EE.
The real Berkeley. Did I say that? The real Berkeley with the EE. She has worked professionally with the Roots, Chloe and Haley, Jill Scott, and Beyonce.
Yeah.
Hold up. When I saw that, I said, wait, she's with Beehive. And you were a part of a Grammy Award-winning project.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get into that. A recent brand ambassador to Life Water, she has an incredible performance last month. You just had one at the Kimmel Center, and I just caught you in time because you were about to go on a lengthy tour for the OK Orchestra Tour starting later this month.
Later this month. Yes.
Okay, and you can check out her incredible project. If you hear a trumpet, it's me.
Yep.
Okay, please, like, just get these ladies a hand, just like, woo, got it, all of these things. So the fact that I'm here with you both, you have a lot in common without knowing it.
Okay.
Word on the street is you're both like musically trained, both musically trained. Are you, you can't say that after being a Berkeley alum. I mean, you can't say no to that at this point. Do you both have like kind of church gospel background?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
So-
Music.
So Jesus is not on the main line. Also,
He is.
he's not just, but he's over elsewhere. Right. Tell him what you want. So when I researched you guys both, and I listened to a lot of the music, I listened to your projects, and I've watched you guys on social media. I've been quietly like cyber stalking you. Like, who they doing? Who they know? Like, so the first question I have, without sharing my tea, who are your mentors? You want to start? Either one?
You can go first.
Yeah, I'll start. My mentors are Tia Fuller, Grammy-nominated saxophonist, teacher at Berkeley, and she plays for her own band all over the world. And Jill Scott. Are like, yeah.
Jill Scott mentored you?
Yeah, she's
See?
a mentor of mine.
See?
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
so them two, and of course, it's like a host of other people, but those two directly are like my main two that are like on the line when it's like, okay, I need to talk to somebody about something. Boom,
Like,
I'm hitting them up.
not
Yeah.
only just professional, but like personal
Oh yeah,
as well.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. See, this is what we need. We need more mentorship because look at what it's produced.
It's important.
It is. Now tell me, mentors, AnOmali, who are your mentors? Who are your influences?
So my primary mentor, being a mainline girl, was Shelley Rochelle Farrell. Her family is very, very close to my family.
Love
and
her.
I just think that vocally she is the most masterful vocalist I've ever heard as far as control. So when I was a little girl, I was playing for the church she grew up in. Her younger sister was on the youth choir. They're a lot older than me, but I was like 12.
Rochelle Farrell has a sister?
That sounds just like her.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, Rochelle Farrell's spirit just came through me. Go on.
Her name is Jackie, and I've got recordings of her singing my stuff. Yep, she's dope. Super dope, but she never wanted to be a singer.
Isn't that crazy? Like
Okay.
someone with the talent, the level of talent and musicianship, but yet they just kind of want to kind of veer away from it.
Yeah, no, she's amazing, but like Shelley just she made me want to up my game. I was raised Kojic.
Okay.
So
For those that may not, for my
Church of God in Christ.
Thank you.
So if you know anything, if you don't know anything about gospel, pretty much almost everything you hear either comes from or is significantly influenced by Kojic, especially vocally. The Clark sisters are Kojic, the Winans are Kojic, the Hawkins are, like you can go down the list forever and ever, and 90% of what's mainstream, originated from that. So when you grow up in that environment, you're talking about singers. Singing in a Kojic church is like Showtime at the Apollo.
Whew.
Like,
So here's my question about the church. See, I've never been in a church in my life. Like I've never, not for like a service, like maybe for like a funeral or a wedding, but not for like a service.
Yeah.
Is it true? Well, no, you tell me. The Kojic, I heard y'all real serious about music.
we are.
Do they shut people down that sound bad if they on the mic, or do they be like, take your time, baby? Just
No.
Why are you tightening your lip, Arnetta?
No, they don't shut people down. But historically, like another one of my mentors was Maddie Moss Clark. She's been gone since I was a little girl, but I was like baby Maddie. I've been directing choir since I was 8.
Wait,
So-
she throwing Maddie Moss Clark or the Clark sisters'
so
mama?
that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
So there was a time
Yeah.
when we were maybe a little less evolved,
Okay.
that we threw shoes and things.
Okay.
We've come a long way from there.
Yeah.
And also, I think a really good teacher can produce good results from anyone without
Physical
being
violence.
abusive. So
She threw the shoe, but I mean, the results. Do you feel like both of you are serious musicians? Like I've listened intently, and I was like, wow, this ain't no Slapjack Mahoney type stuff. This ain't no thrown together type stuff. This is some serious, like it seemed charted. Like, oh, they sat down and with a quill and just yes, and the D note and E major 7 here. So when I listened, I was like, wow, that's serious. Do you find that? Were you inspired musically to pursue this? Like, what inspired you to just pursue music in general? Was it like God-given, or was it just like, I like the way that sound, I kind of want to duplicate, I don't know, create something?
It was just something to do when I first started. Yeah, when I first got into it, it wasn't because I wanted to play an instrument. I was just trying to get out of class. But yeah.
Hold up. You don't go to Kappa And you don't go to Berkeley talking about, I just want to get out of class. I just want to get out of class.
So it was like the perfect scenario. My mother is a music teacher.
See, that's the fun thing about, we behind the curtain. So behind the curtain is kind of the things that go on before the stage and just some experiences to share about the stage itself. Mm-hmm. Are you ever nervous to go on stage? Nervous?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
You? Mm-hmm. You?
I'm more comfortable on stage than I am off, usually. Like once I start singing, it's curtains. That's my world.
Can I say, when I first heard of each one of you, so AnOmali, I've seen you around, like, back in some time ago.
Band, yeah.
And I remember when I first saw you, you had on this red dress, this red Jessica Rabbit, bang, boom, pa-pow. She came through and she was like, I said, who this lady? I said, she came, you know how somebody comes through with a certain energy. So I was like, oh, she a diva. I said, okay, I see you.
I'm so not.
And she had the whole, like, the way you played the keys and the way you sang until there was nothing left on the stage. And I said, hold up, wait a minute. How is it that I'm in Philadelphia all this time and I've been around the music scene and I recognized, I was like, wait, I never seen her on the scene. Then I recognized it was a segregation or like a sectionality of genre, differences or like separation. Same thing with you. When I first saw your six-pack, we're going to talk about your six-pack. We're going to sidebar for a second. When I first I heard of you and I saw a lot of videos of you. And I was like, because I was asking somebody, I said, wait, I would love to put together an all women's band. So when I looked up like women horn players, it was like this group of horn players from Jersey. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, well, do you know about Arnetta Johnson? I said, no, I do not. I'd like to inquire. So I said, all right, Google schmoogle, cyber stalking. Then I saw this picture, and then you had the locks out. It was real dramatic. And then I said, "Wait, she got a little six-pack in there." So wait, what? And then when I saw you play, and then I just saw your most recent clips from the Kimmel Center show, I said, "Hold up, I've been around this. I was around you. I didn't even realize. You never know where you're in front of, who you're in front of,
right?
And just the humility of both of you. Like, y'all just kind of chill, like some people with this level of talent just are not chill and approachable and down to earth, and like it's just different. So I appreciate the humility, the fact that you even were willing to come here, because I was like,
absolutely. It
could have been a clown show. It's still gonna be a little clowning. We're gonna clown a little bit, but I just wanted to just say I really appreciate both of you, and your talents it just speaks for themselves. Can we talk about a project that is specific to you, that like one of your favorite projects that you created or have been on?
So I'm very ministry minded, even though I'm a secular artist. Okay. Just my heart is, I'm very purposeful. I'm very intentional. I think that everything I do is for purpose. And even to speak to the question that you asked her earlier, I'm a singer. It's what I am. It's not what I do. Ooh. It's what I was born for. Yeah. So I'm walking out my purpose, and I'm not sure what all of that looks like, but I'm just moving forward in that because I know that it's bigger than the four walls of the church I grew up in. It's bigger than the main line in the Jewish community I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And I feel like because of my background, I think I come from a mixed background. Yeah. And my family being so diverse, but growing up in a Pentecostal church while going to like private schools on the main line, like it's quite a dichotomy. Yeah. And I feel like that's made me a bridge between a lot of different communities.
That was a main line word. I'm joking.
So my favorite project isn't actually recording. I actually am working on my album now. I've got singles and stuff I've put out over the years, but I'm a little behind, and I think some of my story. Right. I've always been so invested in other people's stuff. I'm finally doing me, but the project I'm most proud of was the nonprofit that I started about 12 years ago, which is called A Voice for All People.
Yes, tell me about it.
So A Voice for All People was a radically inclusive gospel choir because what I saw was that The church is extremely segregated, and pretty much all religious communities are extremely segregated and judgmental. They don't even understand their own orthodoxy. They don't understand their own doctrines. They don't understand their own books. And so there's a level of disconnect and disdain for people who don't look like you, don't vibe like you, don't live like you. And then there's not a space for spiritual community for those people. So I wanted to create a space of spiritual community for everybody. Okay. So we had like maybe at our height like 100 people. And it was black and white and gay and straight. We had Messianic Jews and Muslims who still came to worship with us and sing with us. And it was the most amazing thing because it allowed me to see that the convergence of the worlds, the multitude of worlds that I come from is purposeful. And for me, that's how my music will go to the world. It's why I don't fit one genre. I don't fit one little box. What I do is for everybody, and being able to give that to a community that's always had that snatched from them was really meaningful to me, because everybody deserves to have spiritual community and connection to God if that's what they want.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. That's the transformative power of the arts. Arnetta, could you share with me a project that resonates with you, one of your projects or a project that you've been on that's like most impactful?
I gotta say it's my debut album, the If You Hear a Trumpet It's Me.
It's not me, it's her. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the one for me. Because pretty much it's just a compilation of just songs that I've written throughout the years, from when I first started composing songs when I didn't want to be a band leader, all the way up until the point where it's just like, all right, I'll do the artist thing, started writing songs with that. And then on the album, you can hear me like finding my own sound and pretty much living in my truth. And that, to me, putting that out was just very crucial because it gave me a solid foundation, and it was like my way of like the second somebody's like, okay, what do you do? I'm like, here you go, boom. So that I don't gotta talk about it. Y'all just here's what I do.
I'm trying to be like her when I grow up.
Right. And you're so young. If you okay with talking about your wedding and nothing like that, we don't tell you you like, what you like 12 now? What's going on? Like, what's happening? Like,
I'm 28.
Oh please, child, to be 28 again, like 20. I'm 28. Like,
I know I look 28.
You look 20. No. Yeah, don't crack. So I wasn't sure. I was like,
Hey, so
she said, 28.
That's
cute.
Adorable.
I know, isn't that cute?
It's so cute.
So I'm 105, but
that would make me 106.
106, okay, and that's fine, and we still look fabulous,
girl. And it will not crack, okay?
Can you tell me more about disruptive jazz? Like, what is that? Because I done got into some rumbles. When Will, why you turn your neck over like? I done got into some rumbles with people about jazz, as it is defined, as it is played, as it is accepted, and there's a whole thugged out jazz team. What is disruptive jazz?
So disruptive jazz is pretty much the opposite of what people think jazz is. That's why we call it disruptive jazz. It's just there to keep people's ears comfortable with what they're used to hearing. But yeah, it's like the word disrupt. It means to pretty much dismantle and do away with any of So pretty much throughout my career, people try to box me in. Instantly they see me with an instrument, knowing nothing. They're just like, oh, you're a jazz musician. I'm like, what? I'm like, where did y'all get that from? So yeah, even though jazz is my foundation, I had to learn through my artistry. I just remember after college when I started performing under my own name, and I was just playing jazz standards. I was like, I love these songs. They sound good, but I do not want to play this.
Nobody wants to be hearing Ella Fitzgerald all night. I'm sorry. I love the Ella Fitzgerald. I'm saying.
So I was just like, I do not want to play this. I was like, I also don't like. If it's my performance, I'm trying to all the way down to what I wear when I'm performing and all that, and just the fact that I felt like I had to wear a gown and heels at every occasion. I'm like, I don't know why I feel like doing all that. So
That's why I got corns to this day.
Yeah, I like wearing gowns and heels for the record.
You know, I like wearing that stuff too, but I'm like, I just felt like it was just never my thing. So
it was uncomfortable, like, to perform, or just uncomfortable because it wasn't your style?
Because it wasn't my style. I tell people, don't get me wrong, I love me a good stiletto. So it's just that, you know, it just wasn't my thing. And the music wasn't either. So I added my own swag to the genre, and I was just like, okay, with this music, I can't call it hip hop, can't call it R&B. So, and you know, you gotta play the game within the industry.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, they're still, no matter what, they're gonna try their best to label me as a jazz artist. So I'm gonna call my sound disruptive jazz, so that anytime somebody come across my music, they're gonna know this is disruptive jazz. So disruptive jazz is pretty much staying true to yourself, no matter what genre you're in. You can be a classical musician. The second you start pushing boundaries, disruptive jazz. I also tell people,
there it is.
So
Shama.
I always tell people, jazz is a word. We ain't make that up. Black people ain't make that word up.
Right. Let's get into
that. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't make that word up.
I wish y'all was here. Let me not even go ahead. Go on. And it's Jazz Music Appreciation Month. They gonna come after you.
Man, they can. The Jazz Police, they can come get it. So,
all they need is a couple of music courses in college.
The Jazz Police. Good. All right.
Music history, American 101.
So I'm like, yeah, we ain't make that word up. But there's a great musician by the name of Nicholas Payton. And he's been preaching about that for a minute now, and it's just the truest words ever. So the phrase he coined and has gone around is called "Ban Black American Music," because that's what it is.
Well,
Black American music. So I tell people that's really what I play, and that's really what we are all playing. But it's just the common term is just
I want to
jazz.
jump in on that.
Please jump, please.
So I want to piggyback on something you said a little while ago based on the disruptive jazz. So you know what my name means. And that specifically spoke to refusing to be pigeonholed.
There it is.
Because I grew up singing and loving everything. You know, I love country music. I write country. I do everything.
Music is a spirit.
Right? And so I chose a name that defied everyone. So they could not label me. Like my literal name says you cannot label me. And that was kind of my pushback in the same way that yours was against being forced to be urban or just be considered black music or just be considered whatever, because I'm just me. And I get into that whole black music thing. I'm digging that. She's pro-black. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to be labeled.
That's awesome that you're saying that. And let me just do a little turn around the corner for a second. From a strategic standpoint, because, you know, I love talking about dollars and cents. That is a great opportunity for a funding strategy.
Oh, absolutely.
And by the way, Quiet is kept. Arnetta is taking all the money. Look, let's talk about it. Look, she think I ain't know about that. Look, I sit on grant panels, so I do this. Yo, you just got a nice sum from, Camden area.
Camden County.
She did, several $1,000s. You know what I'm saying? So
she just be telling people's business.
No, I'm just saying but a lot of times people don't recognize, one, not only is art a very transformative way of bringing and connecting people together, it's also quite profitable. The strategy that I see here is, one, disruptive jazz doesn't pigeonhole you, but it also allows you to align yourself with funding sources that are. So when you come in and when you kick in that door, when you kick in the door, people are mad. They like, wait a minute, she's not doing shit.
Yep.
She's coming in with the crop top, with the six pack, with the arms. She's coming in with a hip hop beat, with a swag, and they're like, how? They're like, how dare
It's like
she?
clutching their pearls.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, quick question. Have you ever performed? You performed at South?
Yes. Not under my own name, no. Always with somebody else.
Will?
Oh no.
Will?
I ain't gonna say nothing outside.
Okay. Look, I can't because I'm not pressed about
I haven't performed there under my own name, but I have performed at a similar venue, Chris's Jazz Cafe, with my band.
So I've done all of those venues, as you know.
All of them. So I know you definitely had a residency at World Cafe Live. You were also at Black Lily.
I also had a residency at Warm Daddy's. I was there for like a year and a half straight every Sunday with my band.
Hold on, did they give y'all the free buffet too?
We're just not gonna talk
we're not gonna, like, no, they gave you the free buffet. So the great thing about Philly and music, and what's really funny, is like you guys have performed at similar places or at the same places, and you've never come across each other. Is this the first time you're both meeting?
Yes, but I haven't been in Philly for a long time. You know, I just came back because of the pandemic recently. So
I mean, but she's 28 years old, so she's been around while you were out here in these streets. I mean, you did go away to school for a little bit.
Yeah, did go away to school.
You did go away to school, but you were here around the same time that I was here, around the same time that you were still, around performing.
Well, if you're thinking like 10 years ago, she was a baby.
She was a baby.
I was 18.
That's her baby.
That's old enough. Old enough to get in the club, just not old enough to drink. That's
right.
She could have gotten into some of those clubs yet.
Okay. Quick. So now I'm gonna veer off since I did
no
speak
shade.
a little bit.
No.
It's all love. So we talk about the art of music and the business of art. Quick question. Are both of you or either of you set up as a corporate entity in business?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we get a hand clap on that? This is the strategies that we talk about. Tim, your clap was a little off. I just want to let you know that. You got one? I was like, yeah, I heard that. So this is important for artists to really take their artistry serious. Not only just musical integrity, but the integrity of it being a sustainable, life career. And, seeing what has happened. And you've really diversified the palettes, So Arnetta's taking the revenue streams by storm. Okay, because I'm sitting there drinking water, like, I said, hold up. Is that you are on the face of Life Water?
Yes.
You are one of the brand ambassadors and the face of Life Water, and you had the project that was associated with.
Yes.
So I was like, hold up, wait a minute. And you don't stick with one genre. You play everything and everywhere. So it's really cool to see that, seeing artists really doing the work, doing the job, and like making the music, making it happen. We all got to get together. We got to do a little, next time we're going to have some soul food or something, get together how we do it. But we have to do something.
Oh, and I can cook too.
We got to definitely get together. So do you guys have conventional jobs outside of music? And if so, how do you manage working both?
So yes and no. Okay. I've been doing music full time. God, when I finished school, I had a corporate job for a hot minute. I hated it.
Like most of us.
Right. And because I've been a minister of music literally all of my life, I started playing for churches at 11, 12, that's pretty lucrative if you know how to work the game. It can be challenging as a female, especially a young female.
Yeah.
It can be abusive. We're not going to get into, but there's a lot that goes with that. But there's money to be made. And what I realized is I could play for 2 or 3 churches and make more than most of my friends on their 9-to-5s.
Okay.
And so that allowed me to do that. And I'm also a voice coach. Right. I do professional voice coaching, studio voice coaching. I'm a writer.
Yes.
I produce.
You do a lot.
I'm trying. A lot. And right now I'm working on my catalog because I'm really getting into placements for TV, film, etc.
There you go. How about yourself?
I've never had a 9-to-5.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm living off these. I'm living off these royalties, these gigs, this tour. You know what I'm saying?
It's still a lot of work,
Can you send me a postcard on the second city that you go to? Just send me a just so I'll be like, yo, I know that. All right, cool. No, she good.
I tell people all the time, although my job isn't, the 9-to-5 time frame.
It's a lot of work.
Now 24 hours pretty much.
Exactly.
So, I do a lot of studio recording for various artists. I do teach private lessons on the side. I tour with various artists, and on top of that.
Can we name drop just a few? Come on, I name drop I ain't want to name drop everybody.
I tour with people like Taylor Carrington, Beyonce,
the Beehive.
Yeah. And right now I'm working with this group named AJR.
Okay.
So they're from out of New York, and that's the upcoming tour I have. So between doing all that,
You work.
yeah, I'm also doing the artist thing, you know, writing my own music and putting on shows, you know, performing and all that, and then also doing like some, just working the community, a whole lot of that. So it's like I got a band camp coming up. So it's just I got a lot going on at the same time.
I'm about to throw you a curveball, Arnetta, and she gonna be like, "Why she do that?"
Let's see.
So we both were part of the Rehearsing Philadelphia Orchestra, which is an ongoing project that's happening right now. They have free performances that will be held at the Cherry Street Pier this month. So if you go on Rehearsing Philadelphia on Facebook or just Google it, you'll see what the free performances are. But I remember when I saw you come, this inside joke, but we gonna bring it outside. When I saw her and she came in and I was like, yo, this is different. This is a different situation.
Yeah.
She was like, look, I'm kind of busy right now, and I'm probably not going to be able to commit fully to the situation, so I'm going to have to bow out. And I was like, well, damn, what the hell she got going on?
You know?
And when I looked at I was like, yeah, she got like 40 Jamaican jobs. So.
I was just about to say she's giving me all the Jamaican vibes.
She got like 40, 11 jobs.
But you know, I be trying, you know, so.
No, but I wish you were there, though.
You know, you had Anthony Tidd, you know, Aunt Tidd,
Yeah,
you know,
cool
we got a brother doing something absolutely amazing such as that. So I was like, oh man, I could at least try to be a part of it. So I was like, hey, sign me up, you know, because sometimes people start doing a lot of things and they're like, oh, I don't do stuff like that anymore. But I ain't that kind of person. I'm like, hey, I said, hey, I'm down to do this. But yeah, some dates started to conflict toward the end, and you know, it just couldn't work out.
That's all right. You're there in spirit.
Yeah, I'll be there in spirit.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of something. I'll be like, there she is. She right there. She right there, y'all. So, quick question for both of you. ASCAP, BMI.
ASCAP.
Oh, we all ASCAP. Okay, ASCAP team. So that really was. I always try to trip artists. I'm like, what you said? You're a writer, but you ain't what? All right, now.
Oh man.
No, I wasn't trying to. I didn't want to do that to y'all, but right there it is.
And Butterpillar.
So we're gonna skip to question 9 because y'all pretty much answered that, 7 through 8 and everything. So royalties, is it worth putting out original music today?
Absolutely.
I think so.
You think so?
It's always, yeah. Now in terms, how are you intertwining the royalties in that question?
So
those are two different questions to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So royalties. 1, are you receiving royalties? 2, is it lucrative for you financially? Like,
it's not my main source of income.
As of right now, it's not lucrative at all. But at the same time, it is.
Pull out the sheet. I was like,
at the same time, it is because it's still a foundation for
I think it's name brand
myself.
recognition.
You know, so it's like with everything I'm doing, everything I've gotten,
it's the portfolio.
My name is attached to everything I have. So at the end of the day, although we are spending thousands of dollars creating and putting out music and putting on performances, that's the investment is the currency in that isn't money.
It's legacy.
Right.
It's
legacy.
Right, legacy.
And it's the name brand recognition piece too.
Right.
And like for me, when it comes to catalog building, like as an artist, I'm gonna put my own stuff and I've put my own stuff out, but I'm also looking to put stuff out in other ways. And that's really where your coin comes from.
There it is.
Like placements.
Placements.
That's where the coin comes from.
Right, when you start getting placements and stuff. But it's very
Could you share your experiences with getting placement? Because a lot of artists, they put out things and they're thinking, 1, Puff Daddy's gonna come to the Chitlin Circuit open mic. And number 2, they think that because their song is dope and they did what they did with the song and they put it on, the distribution outlets, that it's just gonna be seen. Share like a quick, couple sentences about how to get placement.
Know somebody that works in the sync field?
That part. That
I mean,
part.
not just to,
That helps.
just to save the BS. That is what it is. Say, you know,
That's
network,
a big part of it.
Network. I have a friend that works with the sync agency, and
Right.
every other day he's sending us emails. Anybody got anything that fits this scope? Da, 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 or send your music for this. Different companies, you know, have different publishing deals and distribution and all that. They deal with that kind of thing. Because, you know, a lot of people have the misconception of wanting to go viral with their songs, and I'm like, when are y'all gonna realize that that's
Not
it works for some people, but
Very
it don't
few.
work with everybody.
Very few.
It's a 1%er, and you have to do something.
At first, it was the way to go, but now it's just so oversaturated.
Oversaturated,
Yeah. So.
And they changed the requirements on what viral represents and what it reflects on different media outlets. There was a time when you could really get it on YouTube. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that time is over. Unless you like a.
I mean, you can still build it up.
I mean, you gotta be a Tasha K type.
You can still build it up. Yeah, I got a homegirl. She killing it with her her hair and product stuff on YouTube, and
You
she
gotta
like we watched her
constantly
build it up too. Yeah,
You gotta put out so much content.
Very consistent.
Which is also expensive over time. So you have to be able to keep reinvesting in yourself. I think that there are other ways. The contacts are absolutely, and that's and I've spent the last several years living in Atlanta, which is everything is filmed in Atlanta.
That's Black
a great
Hollywood
place.
right there.
Exactly. And I have friends who do a lot of syncing as well and are over some of that. So I get those kinds of emails. But there are ways for people who aren't in the know to get into it too.
Yeah.
It's not as easy at first, and you're gonna have to work a little harder. But there are, I don't know, there used to be this thing called Taxi that used to put out a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of, if you do a little digging, there are a lot of entities out there that do put out decently paying opportunities for like major commercials, national commercials, etc. But if you don't have a catalog or a studio where you can pop things out quickly, then you miss those opportunities.
They be wanting
and that's
them
why the
Jones
catalog.
back
Yeah.
by tomorrow.
Right. That's why the catalog matters. That's why even when you're not making an album, even when you don't have a project imminently due, you should just constantly be creating. I'll see something like, oh, we need a song for this kind of commercial. And even if I can't submit it, I'm going to write it anyway for the next time something like that comes out.
Can we talk about I love talking about the budget and the finance of it all, right? So I know y'all got some internal, like, you know, home studios. So now you got to have the right mic, you got to have your interface, you got to have you got one, it's a lot of science and technology involved in this thing. You got to know either Pro Tools or some sort of audio engineering software in order to record and then lay down your tracks and then sync it. That is a whole science that is under-respected to me in some regard. I'm like, why don't we ever look at, well, they're trying to include arts in part of STEAM as opposed to STEM. But they've been including it. It should have been always a part of it, which is crazy that they're taking it out of schools. Shade to all Philly schools that's removing music programs.
And there's not enough women doing what you're talking about.
Shame on you.
There's not enough women doing what you're talking about either. We're almost always in the booth.
But the producers are always people like him.
Right. So when you're a woman musician, and I'm sure you know this, when you're a woman who plays and produces and writes, that's interesting to navigate in the studio.
Can we talk about that? So being women, being musicians, composing and creating your music, have you experienced negativity or just... I was trying to give a straight face.
I'm so sorry. Please let her go first, because you already know.
I would like to hear your thoughts on any undesirable experiences you've had.
Well, yeah. I mean, it kind of comes with the territory. Like, you know, being in the studio, and the second, you know, we're going to make a suggestion, all of a sudden it's like downplayed because they don't think you really understand. And it's just like, I totally understand what's going on. Or they'll take you as stating what you want as being a diva or aggressive.
That part.
No matter how softly and beautifully you may state things, the fact that you're making the statement period just comes off what's the word, intimidating to some people.
Or aggressive.
Right. And then,
because, you know, we're black women.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean,
that's a real thing though.
It's a real thing. And yeah, so that has happened a lot, but It comes with the territory, but it's, you know, as time goes on, that's why I try to be consistent with the studios I go to record, so that I don't have to keep putting up with that time at a time again. And then if it's an issue, you know, I'll say something too. So there's that. So
Okay. I already know where this is going. But before I go,
I'm not even gonna go that deep.
I have a couple of different things to say, but
Okay.
I'm gonna let you have it.
I'm not, because she was so PG with hers that I'm not gonna go too deep.
Let me tell you something. We could take you on PBS. All right, let's see where this is gonna go. Let's see where this is gonna go.
So I can speak to everything that she just said. If and especially if you know what you're doing, you can read music, you can compose, you can say, no, play this chord, not that chord. You get into a lot of egotistical issues with some
That
men.
patriarchy nonsense.
Right, the patriarchy lives. And so that can be really problematic. But what I personally have found more problematic is the sexual abuse.
Let's talk about that.
And the abuses that go on psychologically. And, you know, the blacklisting that goes on when you won't sleep with so-and-so, or when so-and-so raped you and they don't want people to know, and they're friends with this guy and this guy is powerful. That's the stuff that I've had more. Because I can hold my own with that stuff, even though it's a pain in the butt. But it's really difficult when you're established to a point and people recognize, people will recognize your talent, but they're more interested in how you look, or possessing you, or sleeping with you. So and I'm like, make $1 million on me and buy a hoe that looks like me. I'm trying to work.
Exactly. And it's crazy because it's like you're going to allow your deflated penis to get in the way of good business? Like,
real talk.
Are we really trying to do that? So
real talk.
I mean, a deflated one.
This guy's only got a studio because he's trying to get some.
But that's legitimately a thing. That's the shade.
It happens because it happens. I always tell people that part too.
Have you ever been in a situation where you go to the studio, obviously, and you're there, or just in the bandstand, and you're trying to work, and then it goes from business to like something different?
Oh, absolutely.
How do you handle that? How do you deal with that? How do you cope? How do you overcome?
I don't know. My perspective on it is like, I feel like it's just completely different than what people are going to expect. But I'm like, I mean, I always tell people, we can't act like we ain't been on the bandstand, and, you know, you get to those moments where it's, you know, it's just a regular conversation happening. If you see a dude that you think is fine, you really telling me every single time you ain't gonna find out one little window to be like, you know, I might be able to shoot my shot real quick.
But that's so different than what we're talking about. Like, that's innocent.
think it's different.
That's harmless.
I think it's different.
We're talking about
like,
when it's harmful.
So y'all talking about when it's just flat out harmful?
When it's like non-consensual. Like,
then there's a problem.
Like, we talking
right.
about
And what we're talking about rarely happens to men, but we're talking about always happens to women.
So, I mean, I haven't been in that scenario where I feel I might have some kind of wall up that I don't know, but I just walk around with that. Please don't come up to me on that mess. Or if they try to come at me on that, I'll say something to quickly indicate we ain't on that type time.
See, I must have the invitation face all day because
Samesies.
people be trying me.
I'm very upfront too. Like I'll tell them I'll laugh and be like, nah.
You can be upfront, but they can be really aggressive. Like, I'm older now.
More over than that, to your point, the blacklisting part. Then it's like, okay, can we just be cordial and nice? And me not feel like I'm gonna lose this job or I'm gonna lose this opportunity if I'm not nice. Like, can I just be cool with you?
Wait, not just if I'm not nice. I'm gonna lose opportunities because you're well connected and you violated me.
Oh, wow. That's
a thing
like,
too.
that's a real thing. And that's been, I lived in, we're not gonna get into the details of that today, but it'll be in the book.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you have questions, you know, I'm very open and honest about what's happened in my life. But I've lost record deals because of things that men in power thought that they could do to me when I was quite young. And I was always strong, but it's very difficult to navigate that, especially at a certain age, when you're trying to get to your goals and live your dreams and you believe in yourself and this is your destiny and this is your purpose and this door is opening and I need to walk through it. And you have to do this very fine line dance that nobody likes to talk about, where okay, they can flirt a little bit. You know, you almost have to make it seem like maybe there's a chance even if there's no chance. Otherwise, doors might close for you. And it's very difficult to navigate that without usually a man to mitigate it for you, which sucks because you're strong enough to do it for yourself. But men usually only listen to other men in this industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either you're related to them
or you're sleeping
with them.
Or you're right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hard-headed. So I'm the kind of person, like, when situations happen and I'm put in a very uncomfortable situation, I don't want to do it.
It's just, it's a wrap. It's over.
Yeah, I'm the person you got to talk down from completely walking away from stuff.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm that person.
Now,
I'm like,
I guess I handle it very differently. Like, so, you know, there was a situation and I just made sure I farted.
Oh my Jesus. I was so unprepared.
Very. And I
doesn't work.
And it was a bad one. It was bad. That will shut it down. They be like, yo, she nasty. Yup, I sure am. Let's get to work. Let's get to work.
But you know, it's just, you know, it's one of the unfortunate sides of, you know, being a woman in the industry.
Yeah.
I don't know, my mindset towards it is the least amount of power I give it, it's just gonna stay over there. And when it does present itself, boom, I already know what to do to tackle it. Cause some people just don't get the social cue that you just
like, yo, just
it's just like
up.
yo, what made you think that I'm cool with you coming up and rubbing me? Like I always say this about dudes in the club. When you walk past your homeboy, are you going to scoot up on him the way you just scoot? Went past me.
It's a whole different interpretation.
So therefore, you don't gotta touch me when you passing by.
But
So
here's the
it's like
thing with that.
little things like that. It's like what makes you like? I don't get it.
But here's the thing
privilege
with that.
of manhood.
Right. Here's the thing with that though. You've been really blessed, honestly, because I know I've lived and I know some horror stories.
Yeah.
And so you haven't dealt, from what I'm hearing, with the level of aggression that it can go to, where, you know, you're in the studio at 3 o'clock in the morning, nobody is around, and this person is 100 pounds more than you, and decided this is the trade, this is what it's going to be. So that's the kind of stuff that the industry really doesn't deal with and needs to, because now that we're grown women, we got it. But when you're 18, when you're 21, when you're 22, that's not as easy to navigate, especially when you're ambitious, and worse, when it comes from people you trust.
Yeah, that's true. When these situations happen, a lot of times, you know, they'll blame the victim. They'll say, oh, well, they didn't come out all this time. And it's like, wait a minute. No. There's a whole trauma associated with that. And it's also like a livelihood that could be taken away.
And that gets back to the blacklisting.
And then then it's like, first it's your reputation.
Right.
Then it's your ability to earn. Then it's your the believability. Now
your
it's
integrity.
like you're a liar.
Your integrity.
you're unprofessional. And then the worst of it is if somebody tried you but didn't succeed in what the filth, then you're a harlot.
Yeah,
I was trying to use the other word.
I know, and I've seen all of those scenarios. And if I name dropped right now, you would gag.
You could.
So
I won't.
Okay.
But I will. I will one day. But I'm not going to do it right now because, you know, she's going to put some things in place before she does it. So when she does it, it no longer has any power.
Okay. And I'm not mad at that because I'm like, look, bring all the demons, bring all the tatterdemalion demons to the court.
You do see some of them on TV like every night, though.
Was any of them at that Oscars?
No, I've worked with that crew. I dated somebody in that crew. I'm cool with that crew. There's another late night show though that's run by somebody in Philly, and that's all we'll say about that.
Oh, see, that's how I knew Jaguar Wright wasn't lying about everything.
Jag wasn't lying about anything.
Oh, all of it. Okay, we're gonna talk about that after commercial break. But just you already talked about like the discrimination, the disparities, and the experiences of being in music as women, as black women, being perceived as assertive and aggressive when you just are in a leadership role of a project that's probably your own. Yes. Or just the fact that 1 + 2 is not gonna be 12, right?
Right.
So when you say it, it's like, no, shut up, woman. Right. Yeah. And then when somebody with a penis says it, then it's like, oh no, that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Best
but
idea
I said it the whole time. See, y'all need to come with them farts. You need to come correct, man.
Just ill.
Exactly. And that's what I'm hoping to get out of it. He's laughing. Yeah, see, you wouldn't be laughing if you was privy to that part. But anywho. Have you ever, I mean, obviously you felt unsafe. You felt in a space where being vulnerable, you felt unsafe. And what do you do? Like, all right, you said for the most part, you're just like, yo, I'm just not even going to deal with that.
Oh, I'm going. I'm leaving.
You're out. Peace out. Has it ever gotten to the point where it escalated before you had the chance to make that decision?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
Because the second it gets, just once I'm uncomfortable, I just always been that kind of person. Because it's just growing up, just different things I've been through. It's just, you already see the signs. I make one phone call. I'm like, I don't really like how this is going. I'm going to be out of here.
Okay.
And I'm going. Because I'm like, I don't need time number 22.
Right.
No, I learned at a very young age. That's a red flag. Get out of there. And also, I was just raised never go anywhere alone, or everybody always knows where I'm at. People are always gonna know who I'm at and exactly who I'm with. I'm never anywhere where no one knows exactly who I'm with. They're gonna know when I'm getting there. They're gonna know when I'm walking in, and they're gonna know when I'm about to walk out at all times. All times. So
that's good to
when
know.
I was super young, always was with somebody, never by myself.
Tell the people why this is so important. People are getting snatched up every day.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, not even snatched up. Just what we talking about. Like, you know, being in you was never catching me in the studio with just me and some dude alone. My mom wasn't having it. My teachers wasn't having it. My mentors were 100%. They wasn't having it, which is why, you know, a lot of things have been prevented, even though still went through a lot, which I try to not ponder on, but my circle of people in the village I have around me, nope.
And I didn't have that. I was on my own at 16. I went to school. I was 2,000 miles from home. I've been on my own since I was a child. Mm-hmm. So the only person that was there to protect me was me, and I had a lot of common sense, but I did not grow up urban.
Right.
And I wasn't sheltered or stupid or naive, but I grew up in a very waspy, Jewish, different world. Like, my experience was very different. And so there were certain social cues within our community that I was not accustomed to. The only time I was exposed to us was church. And that's a different world.
You know what's so crazy? That you're saying all of this stuff. This is, just being a woman, being in that environment, it changes you.
It completely changes you.
Because there was a time when I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I was just like...
Right, ready to go everywhere.
Right, it's like, oh my God, you know, hey. Now it's like...
I'm jaded as hell.
Now, when they say, hello, good afternoon, sir.
Oh yeah, it took me a minute. I got a lot of sit-downs because I was the person trying to be everywhere, go everywhere, be around everybody, and da-da-da-da-da. And that's when my mentors came in and was like, you are not going on the road with us because it's too many things that we still need to get you up to speed with, and you're a little green in certain situations.
She's been incredibly blessed, and she needs to. You need to share that with other
advice.
people, because a lot of women don't have what you have.
This is all we talk about all the time. Every time we do, you know, just let the women go through, you know.
I share the other side of it to protect them. Like, she's sharing that side. I'm sharing the what not to do, or not even what not to do, because I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong, right?
Just understanding that sometimes your ambition and wanting to get where you're trying to go will make you kind of turn a blind eye to some things until it catches up to you.
Well, can I also say, just to also bring light to this, this is something that is serious that women go through, but as I started to really dive into the industry itself, I started recognizing that men are dealing with a lot of the same stuff. And I recognize there are a lot of men that I know personally, some, that have experienced sexual harassment, being violated in the studio. You know, they come to the studio to do a track, and there's somebody else, and somebody else is there.
Right.
They shared a drink. They didn't know what was in the drink. They smoked something. They thought it was something, but it turned out to be something else.
We could keep even more base level. I mean, I've been in plenty of studio sessions where, you know, homies are in there and they be chilling, and then all of a sudden, random dudes want to bring in all these chicks, and then you got You know, so then it's like, what if you're a dude that's really trying to chill and you got this joint like pushing all up on you and it's just like, yo, chill, and then she ain't chilling. So it's like there's that side too. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, yeah, everybody got a lot to deal with. Women got a lot. We got a lot more to deal with. We got a lot more to deal with. I like, you know, but I also like to talk about like the responsibility factor. Like, you know, as we talk about all our hardships, I like to talk about how men can do better.
Absolutely.
And we need to put the onus on men and stop blaming women for the stuff.
Right. Exactly, because I don't care if I was in there butt naked. I didn't invite you to the party,
exactly.
bro. We trying to work.
Exactly.
Period. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So, I'm trying to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, the responsibility definitely has to be there. Because, you know, we could talk all day about the horror stories that we have, but we got to deal with the reason why it keeps happening. On top of that, it's like, you know,
people don't talk about it enough. That's
they don't. That's where I be at. That's where I be at. But I'm like, all right, we done said everybody done heard our piece. It ain't nothing new. Let's talk about how to get it better. So, you know, I'll tell a lot of my homeboys. Yeah, it should be taught in school. I tell a lot of my homeboys like, yo, if you're at work, keep it professional. Point blank. Period.
Can we talk about
point blank? Period. Now, if y'all go outside for a smoke break, and y'all just start rapping about some random stuff and y'all have a common interest, okay, yeah, talk about it. But my thing is, just keep it just regular. Don't get all weird. It's only weird if you make it weird. Exactly. That's where I be at with it. So yeah, keep it professional. Keep it professional. Read the room.
I've always heard you don't defecate where you eat. I'm saying it politely.
That was a nice.
You know that in a term that saved me was don't get your honey where you get your money. I didn't listen to that rule a very few times, and every time I would go downhill, I would say, you know what? I said, I should have listened to what they told me. But now at the point where I get it now. So I get it now. So
we learned through trial and error.
Now we're getting a little personal. We might have some special surprise guests.
I don't really believe
that. I'm joking about the guest. Arnetta was like, did not sign up for that.
No, I'm like, it can't be any more of a shock.
Quick question, getting personal. If you feel uncomfortable sharing, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. Personal relationships. Are you in relationships now? And if so, how has that been? Being like, what's so funny? Like, how has that been? Because people get shocked when they like, oh, you're married? I'm like, well, what the hell am I doing to make you think I'm not? Like, I'm right. I live a upstanding life.
Sound like a surprise.
Right. People get surprised. Like, recently I posted a picture of my husband and they were just like, you married?
Well, that was steamy.
Oh yeah! Shout out to my husband. Shout out.
Oh man!
You know he just won his bodybuilding. Yeah, I mean, look, that's what I go home to every night. So I know perspective. Right.
Like, yeah,
ain't nothing out Nisha. I ain't checking for nobody except her husband. Okay, but what is the?
I'm going to let her go first on this one too.
Like, if you're in a relationship, or you know, like, what is that like? Being on the road, being away from your significant other, like, if that is the case, I don't know. I'm
super single. I enjoy it. You know, I tell people, don't get me wrong when I say I don't want to be single. I find that there's a joy in finding love. But yeah, even though I'm single in the midst of all of this,
enjoy it.
Oh no, I'm definitely enjoying it. I always tell people, the self-love is there, but at the end of the day, everybody, you know, wants a companion, you know, and one of my biggest nightmares is doing all this crazy dope stuff and having all the money in the world, and then you walk back and this is what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Boom. Just dark. You walk.
I was like, wait, what we like? Oh, no,
no one to share it with. No one to share it with.
Yeah, you walk in your house and it's just like, So I remember that moment hit a couple years ago when I was watching the Bessie Smith movie. She had just got off a big tour and walked back into her mansion. Nobody was there, and I was like, that's not how I want to be.
Yeah,
that's not how I want to be. You know, a lot of people, they try to tell their deep stories of, I love myself. I'm like, all right, you keep
You
saying
can love
that.
yourself and love somebody else too.
Right, you can
You
love
about to have me
yourself
go
and love
in
somebody else
on
too. So my thing is also, you know, it's a like a little bit of a battle, you know, being a woman in a leadership position. You know, it can come off very intimidating for men, which in my opinion is understood. At times, depending your perspective. Now, if you just a power trip dude, you can stay over there.
Right.
If I intimidate you, you're just not for me.
Right.
Yeah. So I know I'm the kind of girl I would love to get married and have kids, and if that causes my career to shoot, that's fine by me,
You got plenty of
because
time.
that's real happiness to me. You know, once the trumpet gets put back in the case, you know, you still got the husband and kids there.
But the
I want both.
You want both. You want both. So hold on. So wait, just so I'm clear. One, she's single, y'all. But she's single, y'all. So just so I'm clear, in the event that you decide to get into a relationship, you would kind of tone down the career just a little bit?
I would have to. There's no way I could have a family and be traveling. Just for me personally, like we see other people
Or
do
just
it.
even if
For-
you're before
me-
kids, before
kids.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I just wouldn't want my kids doing all that ripping and running and
I
ripping and
understand.
running.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
I would like a more stable, homey type situation.
Well,
so
there is your counterpart out there.
now, along with that, I always tell me at the same time, you know, looking at the, you know, the financial side of things. Yeah, I'm that person. I'm always going to do what I have to do to make sure my family is
Taken care of.
Yeah, taken care of, period. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So do you want me to answer?
Yes,
that
you
one?
can. He has a whole land inside of his home.
Oh, wow.
We did a whole recording. It was crazy.
Hey,
So-
that's the goal.
Oh God.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Seriously, on that,
Tim is married, but
Yeah.
go on, Tim.
on that question, on that topic that you're talking
Uh-huh.
about, how do you see a relationship with someone that understands the business opposed to someone that's not?
Oh, that's a great question.
I can speak to
That's
that
a very
based
great
on my
question.
answer to the same question.
Please.
So my man is a producer. He's actually he's the musical director for Tym Johnson, which
Well,
if
I
you're
have
not
a
familiar
track
with
that I wanted to
gospel-
send to him. It's right here.
Okay. But he's the musical director for Tym Johnson, which if you're not familiar with gospel is like a really big award-winning,
Wait, could you say
gospel
that
artist.
the name again?
Tym Johnson.
Yes, thank you.
And so, just like me, he writes, plays, produces, and so we do a lot of business together. And for me, I enjoy that partnership. Like at this space in my life, it's hard for me to imagine. I've done the doctors and the lawyers and the CEOs and the pastors. I've done all that.
She said I
And
get
it-
around. I'm so
Yeah, no, but I have. And being a PK, look at me. I'm like, I was
Yes.
made to be like the bishop's wife,
Look,
right? But that's not
yes,
the life I want.
right.
So
you prefer
being-
somebody that understands.
I didn't think that I did until I got into this relationship, because I previously always only dated, some of my ex, some of these names.
I plead the fifth on that,
But
y'all.
y'all, I'm not new to this. She's not new to this. She knows a lot of people. So being in that environment with, we don't have to do the tug of war where I have to compete because I don't understand why you need to be in the studio that long or vice versa. We both have the same passion for what we do, but we also have that passion for each other. So we balance that by making sure, again, I think everybody here knows I'm a Christian, so we don't have to, we pray together, we worship together, we play together, we do music together, we do, and we take the space we need. So there's a way to balance it. But maybe for a lot of other women in music, I'm like a dude when it comes to music. It's my world. So it would be hard for me to be with someone who does not understand that, and who doesn't know why I'm up at 3 a.m. finishing this bridge, and doesn't want to jump in the studio with me, and doesn't think that's sexy and fun, and isn't driven to the same dreams and aspirations. So because we have the same dreams and goals and kind of purpose and ministry, for me, that's beautiful. Now, I don't know if we're forever, we're a little bumpy right now, but we're gonna be business partners regardless. And what that's done for me, to speak to what you're saying, is it's shown me what is really valuable for me personally. And for me personally, I don't just want a husband, I want a partner, and I want a partner in all the things that I love. and the things that I'm passionate about and the things that make, pay my bills. Like, I love that. Celine Dion is one of my idols. Need I say more?
Okay, I get it. So I have a different, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So for me, my husband is supportive. I remember a previous relationship. Tim, we ain't gonna say that lady's name, that individual. But a previous relationship, I was with somebody who was in music, and it was like, I hated that. I hated it.
It can go either way.
And for me, I just felt like I need somebody that is outside of it, but supports what I do. Yes. Just like it's supportive of what I do. Yes. That's what Arnetta's looking for. But yeah, somebody that's supportive, like, I remember when we first started dating, I said, what if I had to leave for like 6 months and go overseas and do something, either any of the artistic initiatives that I'm a part of, or if I had to do music. He was just like, look, just be safe. Just, take care of yourself. I just want you to be happy with what you do. And I love that. Because I got to take my L's too and be accepting when he want to do bodybuilding competitions and, got to get all chiseled up.
Got to change his
got to change his diet. You know what I'm saying? Washboard abs and everything. But when he has to do
I think it can work either way, though. I think it's about how you prioritize.
Yeah, it's different strokes for different folks. Like for me, I don't know if I would want a musician. I don't know if I would want somebody outside of music. All I know is we both can't be doing the same thing.
Right. That's it. The exact same thing.
Like
that's
like I already know I'm not messing with anybody whose motive is to be a full out touring musician. It's not happening. Because that's extremely.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, one is extremely is just not stable enough to just can't sustain too much off of that.
That's not always true, but it's usually true.
That's 100% true. You're not.
Well, no, touring? Not just tour. If they're only touring, that's what I mean.
No, that's what I'm saying. Most of these musicians out here,
if they're only touring, that's not. But I'm talking about just full-time music. Like they can be doing well.
Yeah, full-time music you could be doing great. But if both of us can't be touring, because
y'all
gonna hold that exactly. No. That's where I'm getting.
You're right. You're right.
Who going?
I think the situation you were saying is like extraordinary because most commoners.
You're right. You're right.
They just don't understand. Period.
Yeah.
Especially with a woman.
That
right.
Attitude that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Most commoners don't understand.
Yeah.
They gotta understand. Like she was saying.
He sees that
that's one of the reasons my man loves me, because I get it.
Yeah.
What?
When I was married, my wife thought I was going to get done with work at a certain time. But
not in this.
Oh, right. Go what?
At first I was like, what you mean?
That's why I was like, huh? Nah, but
I don't come home from work. I'm home. I'm working.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, just as long as whoever it is understands not just the music scene, but how I do music. Not even that, how I approach it. Whereas though there are going to be some nights where at 10 o'clock, don't talk to me.
Right.
Just leave me alone.
In a zone.
No, because I'm just ready to go to bed. I just want to watch TV. Because... Or it's like maybe not don't talk, because the time changes are always different for us artists. In pretty much the same way he'll want me to respect whatever his career or profession is.
That's right.
Just same in return. I always tell musicians and artists, we also have to have a very open mind. You have to understand you're putting a very unorthodox situation onto the masses that have very strict schedules by default with their time. Your average person isn't walking around here where their job is just like at any given hour.
Right. Well, that's the random abstract thing to the concrete sequential, right? Because most people, their lives fit into little boxes on the hillside, right? And that's
just a little more structured.
How we operate. Yeah. Right. Well, that's what I mean. That's exactly what that means, and that's not how it works for us. So
but I feel like it is structured. It's just not conventional.
Oh, mine ain't structured.
No, I feel like
mine
there is a
either.
structure. I feel like even though it may not be structured comparing it to conventional work, but it is a
Right.
structure because it works. You wouldn't be able to produce the bodies of works that you produce
Right,
if it
yeah.
had no structure.
Now-
But it's not a structure to them. It's not a structure.
To hell with them, then. To hell with
We
them.
have to live in the world,
Right.
So it's not a structure to them. So like when
Right.
you were saying you were in a relationship with somebody who wasn't in music or was in music, and
Yeah.
that was difficult too. I've done, I spent 10 years with somebody who's, very, very high on the food chain, and that was horrible. I think it's about how you prioritize. I've
I
had
think
good
I
relationships
was dealing with a
people
bottom
outside of
feeder.
it.
That's probably why I don't.
I'm crying.
I'm dealing with a bottom feeder.
I mean, I've learned a lot. I try to get a lot of advice from like my married friends that were full musicians at one point in time, and pretty much they just let me know it really boils down to communication, which I know I always struggle with.